Cheers, everybody. We are back for another edition of Bourbon on a Budget. TJ Pittenger, Ben Cock, and Brendan Sinone back with you guys for, I don't even know how many episodes this is. I don't know why I acted like I was going to say an episode number, but I don't know how you guys are doing today, but I'm feeling like a champion. It's only been a few days since my Lightning won the Stanley Cup. Ben was over for that. We had a great time, a lot of whiskey, have some whiskey to talk about from that night. And we'll get into it. But I'm feeling like a champion. Brendan, actually, let's go Ben first. Ben, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. We can't lose. I love sports, as you guys know. So, watching that game 5 that we won the Stanley Cup. So
it was great. Yay sports the entire time.
I did play the pucks.
How are you feeling health-wise, though, Ben? Feeling well?
I feel pretty spectacular. Most people on our in our our bourbon community, feel great. But that brings us to Brendan. What's going on with Brendan over there?
I'm glad. Oh, I get the single shot. That's so great. Thank you. Just zoom in on how crappy he looks. Let's see if we can get the bags under his eyes and the pale skin. I'm glad you guys are feeling great and hearty and that you're able to celebrate
America.
A second Stanley Cup. You know what? This is karma for what I said about the Eagles last week.
It is.
The bald eagle, the stupid bald eagle. I traveled this past week for the 4th of July and came
Uncle Sam
down,
got you.
Upon coming home, came down with the COVID. So I got the Rona. Don't feel 100% still. And one reason, not the only reason, but one reason why I'm not partaking in an adult beverage with you fellas on a show that's about adult beverages is because I really can't smell much of anything right now. I'm getting a little bit back. I couldn't smell anything 2 or 3 days ago. I can smell a little bit today, but still smell and taste are kind of difficult. So, yeah. But I'm glad you guys are doing well and having so much fun.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I'm glad that you're doing well, Ben. I am glad that Brendan's doing a little bit better. We were texting the other day, and he's like, sorry guys, I think I'm dying. It was rough there for a minute.
It was a bad couple of days. It's still not great, but it's no joke. No joke.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to be here tonight. We had kind of planned to do this Monday night anyway because we both had some things going on this weekend, and so I'm glad that you were at least able to hang out. I'm glad that you're going to be joining us for the review segment as well, just to give us crap. I know you're not drinking, but I think people enjoy the review that we do. We'll talk about later in the episode. So, hey, if you're watching, if you're listening to this on YouTube, if you could subscribe or give it an upvote, we'd appreciate it. Leave a comment. We do read all the comments. I know they say don't read comments, but we do. And we'd be very happy to read your comment on air, even if it's mean, like that one guy's review was several months ago.
Suck it.
If you're listening on iTunes, we'd love a 5-star review. We don't really, again, care what you say in the comments. You can cuss us out all you want, but put a 5-star review with your swear words. We would appreciate that. We're on all the social medias as well. I'll finish plugs here in a minute. Bourbon on a Budget on every social media platform that you can think of. Give us a follow and a like and interact with us there. We would appreciate it. Guys, we are doing a little bit different of an episode, probably a much shorter episode than we normally do. But I'm excited for this one. Just kind of something different. It's Bourbon on a Budget, but tonight we are breaking the budget. Breaking the budget.
Sorry, that was my guitar, my air guitar. No.
Wow, it's a nightmare.
For those that weren't around for our very first episode, Ben gave just an absolutely stellar breakdown of our mission and what we considered to be a budget bourbon. So we're doing the opposite of that tonight. But before we do the opposite, Ben, what did we say budget bourbons were? Let's talk about it. Do you remember? Or something close?
Yeah, readily available under the $30 to $40 price point. But tonight we're throwing that out. We didn't want to talk about it unless it's $60, unless it's $70. We're mad money tonight. We won the Stanley Cup. We won the Super Bowl, the MLS ship
None of that's
thing.
correct. Oh, actually,
So we're going big tonight.
Actually, all that was
Actually,
no, not
Tampa,
MLS,
but yeah,
We're
must,
going
Rowdy's
big
one.
tonight.
must be nice.
Big money.
breaking the budget. Hey, Brendan, I don't think you're a massive soccer fan, but your people had a big win this weekend too, winning the Euros.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean by your people?
I said your people. He's claimed to be Italian a million times on this show. Where we had the 3-chord guys on, he was saying he was cousins with that guy or something. I
don't know. Geraldo.
Yeah.
My poor dad was watching the match, and he's always on delay when he's watching something because he's old and like he can't just watch it in live time, and sleep's important to him. So he ends up fast forwarding through it like hours later. So he's watching it, and my brother texts the group, Italia! And my dad was like 20 minutes left still.
I'll get him.
Italians had a nice come from behind win in penalties yesterday. We are breaking the budget tonight, getting outside of that. I think really the top of the budget that we would really consider is, 40, 45. Maybe we did do like a $55 MSRP with that toasted barrel. Is probably the highest thing we've rated, again, outside of the another exception, but the Redbreast Cast Strength 12 was kind of a special edition episode. But breaking the budget, we're not going crazy, not going secondary tonight, not going anything nuts. But Ben, what are you drinking tonight that's breaking the budget a little bit for you?
Ooh, tonight I have a Jack Daniel's single barrel strength gas bars store pick, local store. I think this was either $59 or $69.99. I'm thinking this was $69.99.
Nice.
But it's a store pick by a local guy that we had on, Jimmy. Shout out, Jimmy. If you want to come back on our podcast, hang out with us.
I spoke with Jimmy. I saw Jimmy on Friday. Yeah, just last Friday, I believe. And he was doing well. He said he wanted to come back on, said he wanted to do something in person. So I'm glad that you're drinking something from them. I actually have a Gas Bars glass that he gave me because I went and saw him and Ben did not.
Jimmy, give me one of those glasses.
I only have one, so sorry.
Jimmy. Not TJ. Jimmy.
Okay.
Send it over.
You said gimme, not Jimmy.
Oh.
I am drinking. These Makers expressions are fantastic. We've talked about different ones they've had. We've had a caramel apple, and Ben and I talked about that, having that in Orlando. I've got a maple glazed donut, which I got from Lucan's here in Tampa. Excellent. I'm a huge maple fan. Stave Profile. Remember when we talked about those from our Maker's Mark episode? This is 5 of the French Cuvée and 5 of the French Mendinant. I don't know what that means, but cheers.
I'm sure that was totally accurate. Yeah.
It could have been. Yeah.
What kind of tree do you have outside? Mendinant tree.
I don't speak freaky deaky French, so I don't want you to say here. Maple glazed donut. I want to say that this was same price range as Ben's, either $60 or $70, $59.99 or $69.99. So a little bit outside of the budget, not crazy, not secondary, not $100 MSRP or $150 MSRP, but outside of that budget, just a little bit. Ben, what's the proof on yours? The proof on mine's 109.1. So it's a little hot, but like compared to yours, talk about your proof.
Yeah, so mine's 132 proof, 66% alcohol. This thing's a heavy hitter. And I found that with this one, at least their store pick, if you add just a slight drops of water, like it opens it up like a banana custard, bananas Foster. Oh, so good. Yeah,
very traditional Jack Daniels there for it to give off a banana note.
Yeah.
So I have long been very anti-Jack on a lot of things. I think it's because you just have cheap Jack, and that's it, and you're taking shots and stuff. But the more I have from them, that banana flavor is really good. Similar to the Brown Foreman, Old Forester stuff, but the banana is even stronger and more prevalent there. The maple glazed donut it's definitely a lot of sweetness. It's not anywhere near as hot as Ben's. We've talked about the power of suggestion. I mean, I get kind of that sweet maple flavor in it. Not too unlike vanilla and caramel that we say is in a lot of bourbons, but very classic bourbon here, proofed up just a little bit to almost 110. So it's good. I think this was a Lucan's Davidoff here in Tampa collab. Really, really good. Both of those stores do good work. And so, to me, well worth the, again, either $60 or $70 that I paid. So question, we'll go to Brendan first since he's not drinking. I know this is bourbon on a budget, and I know that a lot of things we try to review and try and talk about are within that budget range. But I guess I'll just ask, how do you know when you're going to break the budget? Like, when is something worth breaking the budget to you? I know it's very loaded. I know that you can go a lot of directions with that. But how do you know when you're going to break the budget, or when is it okay to break the budget to you? Start there, and we'll go on. You can go a million ways with it, but
so I think two different directions that you can take that, TJ, for when you feel comfortable to break the budget. One is special occasion, right? If you feel like, well, I guess you can go three different directions. Okay, so one is special occasion for, because they kind of fall in line with each other. But what is a special occasion bourbon? If you know you're bringing it to a party or a gathering, or you're bringing something that you know someone is going to enjoy for a special occasion. I brought my buddy at his bachelor party a bottle of Lagavulin 16, which, is going to break the budget. That's Scotch, obviously, but it's a pretty special bottle of Scotch, one that has good name value. People are going to know what Lagavulin is, know it's going to represent quality. So that's one where it's going to have a special occasion or some memory. Like, I also got a bottle of George Cheese Stag and was okay spending $350, $400 or so on it, which, you could do a lot worse. You obviously could do better. It's still 3 or 4 times MSRP. But I got that shortly after my dog passed away, and I knew where this bottle was, and I just wanted to treat myself to something because it was a pretty hellish few months with that process. So that was something that I was like, okay, I want to treat myself to something nice and know I was going to be thoughtful of whenever I was drinking that bourbon. So that's one direction, not to bring down the mood there. 2.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
If you have a favorite dog that dies, you can buy bourbon.
This is a special occasion. Mine is blurred.
The one we have now is going to be commemorated with mellow corn. Just kidding, Willie. Sort of. So the second one would be is if it's an extraordinary value. So like when you guys see Pappy at Costco, right? And you like, hey, I'll never see this again in the wild at $80.
Happens every Saturday.
You grab it, right? So that would be another time if it's something. The third and final one for me is, and this is what I do. So you take the emotion out of it. You take the understanding like this is valuable. You just do a ton of research on something, right? And this is an example of when I spent a ton of money on this one. This is Kentucky Owl batch
3, I thought
9. This is 9. I have a 3
9.
and I have a 9. 9 is a higher proof one. It's about $300. It's expensive. I got it after I signed my extension at 24/7 Sports, so it was to treat myself. It was also ABC, so I got points for that, which at the beginning of the year was important to me. But I did a ton of research on it, and I think that's when you can feel comfortable spending a hell of a lot of money on a bourbon, even if you haven't tried it. If you've talked to people you trust, if you've done a lot of Googling on it and understand there's a level of quality with it, is this worth $300? I don't know. I sent it to you guys before. I think you both really enjoyed it. I don't know if you would spend that much on it, but it did not disappoint in terms of it wasn't a complete bust. So those would be the 3 times for me. I think I feel okay spending a lot of money on a bottle of bourbon.
I really think you covered, just about anything, Ben. So if you don't,
sorry, I rambled.
No, but that was really good. Like I sent you a question that was like you could go a million directions with it. I think you kind of nailed it. I hate to give you this much credit, but
thank you.
But you still have Corona. So Ben,
Ben, do you have a dog that has died that you would like to buy?
Ben, anything to add to Brendan's or any thoughts?
Yeah. So I'll do one more point. At some level of at any quality point, as you go up in proof, it's just going to cost more because you're not paying as much for water, or they're just not proofing it down, or it's older generally. So I think as you kind of escalate in proof, you will at some point be paying more, breaking the budget. And there are some barrel strength budget bourbons. The quintessential one in my mind is Wild Turkey Rare Breed. It's a $45 bottle, but you get like 116.8 proof, and that's like your intro into like barrel strength bourbon, and that is like the budget, like the best budget one, but it's already at the upper price point. So if you do want to step into the higher proofs, you are going to have to spend a little more money. So that's where I would say, in addition to Brendan's kind of checkpoints, if you want to get into something that's higher proof, they're just going to have to charge you more money, and you have to spend a little more on that.
Yeah, I don't know if I have too much to add to you guys. But I, the only other thing I could think of, and we've done a really good job of kind of staying away from this, but the only other thing I've ever kind of done, because I think you guys kind of hit all the nails on the head. I have bought things that were above retail, but below secondary, and then sold them for secondary so that I could have a bottle for basically retail, right? Like I got
Victor's,
a bottle of XYZ for 2 times MSRP, but it was still, half of secondary. I sold the one to keep the other one for basically the cost that it should have been. That kind of takes us to an interesting transition, and we'll talk about it with pursuits and purchases later, but I'm becoming more of a fan of the cost and ship idea, like that Elliot Feinblum told us about a few weeks ago. If you haven't checked that episode out, go check out the Wild Turkey episode. That's a little, as they call in the biz, a little foreshadowing or such. But I do kind of like that idea more than just like the straight secondary a lot of times now. But I have done that. I have bought stuff. I can't spend $500 on a bottle of bourbon, but if I can buy 5 bottles of it and sell 4 of them for $700, then I got my bottle for free, right? So that's kind of how I see it. I know that secondary can be looked poorly upon, but that's really the only other thing, and that's a very rare thing. That at the end of the day, I got my bottle at essentially retail anyway. So don't check the math there because it wasn't correct, but you get the gist. We talked about times that you'll break the budget. This probably goes very, very well with that. Brendan, we'll start with you again. I know you kind of mentioned some of yours. Give us one that you didn't mention, because I know you talked about the Lagavulin for a friend and the stag when your dog passed, different things. But what's another one? And then I'll move to Ben, and we'll go kind of around the horn here, that you broke the budget for. Give me one that you broke the budget for and it was worth it, and give me one that you broke the budget for and it wasn't. But don't use your original blends. Like we know that one.
Yeah, we know blends. So I'm glad you asked that, because I have 2 here. One that I broke the budget for, and both of these were blind. I will say this, and these are probably, along with the Kentucky Owl, some of the more expensive ones I've purchased without having tasted before. Like the George T. Stagg, I knew I liked George T. Stagg. I knew I loved George T. Stagg, so I didn't feel super bad about paying that. So here I got a Wild Turkey Decades bottled in bond, 17-year-old Wild Turkey. So it's 100 proof, 17 years old. It is exquisite. It was about $120. I was able to procure it. So was retail basically, maybe a little bit more than retail, but it wasn't like much more than that. And to me, it was worth every single penny of it, because it was special. It was excellent. It's a really cool bottle. It's unique. Like they're not going to release something like this ever again. So that was one that was an expensive bottle of bourbon that I felt really good about. I have it at special occasions. I've had it at Thanksgiving because of turkey, I
missed that.
Oh, sorry. No, you missed it. You missed us doing that. We can do it more often.
Soft spot in my heart for that. Excellent turkey call.
So this one is an example of when going over the budget goes bad, and when doing research goes bad. This is Sam Houston 14.
Really?
This was a year ago. It was like Ben's response, I think, is going to be telling. It was just like the darling of the bourbon community, of people kind of finding new things, finding things that are sourced and saying, hey, this could be just as good as the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. And so Sam Houston, I think, is rumored to be Barton Distillery, if I'm not mistaken. It's 98 proof, 14 years old. And this was a Kentucky blend. So they had different blends for different states. There was one in Georgia that I had passed on. But this was only about $100, $120. Like it wasn't exorbitant amount for what you can spend for a bourbon. I got it while traveling to Louisville last year. I drove 14 hours there. I drove 14 hours back. I said, you know what? Treat myself. I found this in a store. And again, the reviews on it were pretty incredible. People were talking about this being one of the best bourbons of the year. I got it. It's fine. It's okay. It's nothing bad. But would I pay $100 for it again? No. I would pay 200. I would pay 200, 250 for that Master's Keep Wild Turkey, but I would pay maybe $50. This is a $50 bottle to me. This is very Blanton's-esque in terms of proof, in terms of value in there. Like, it's not bad. It's not offensive by any means. It's solid. It's just
meh.
Yeah. Not worth what you paid for it, and not worth the hype in my mind.
Ben, do you have one where you broke the budget and you were pleasantly surprised, something you haven't mentioned yet, and then maybe one that that you kind of regret breaking the budget for?
I don't have too many bourbons that I've bought that have broke the budget that I regret. I have plenty of them that like I've not broke the budget, but like regret because it's just not good. Just not good in general. But there are some bottles that like I've had and then we got rid of, and I've been like, man, we should have just drank those things instead of sold them. But
I know which one which one are you thinking of most?
This.
Yeah, absolutely.
This thing.
That's one of the best. Have you had that, Brendan? Have you had that? Oh, for those that can't see it, Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Single Barrel Rye Special Release 2020 edition.
Barrel strength.
Longest name of all time. You had that, Brendan?
No, I have not. I haven't seen it.
I'll send you some of Ben's. It's amazing.
TJ has some too that he's going to send you.
Mine. No, I'm sending Ben's. It's better. Ben's is better. Ben's fake is better.
It is. So we had 2 bottles of this, and the general idea was like, okay, we're going to get 2. We'll sell 1, and then it'll pay for the first bottle. And then we drank the second bottle. We're not drinking, like we've tried it, and we're like, dang, this thing is so stupid good for the price. It was like 80 because we got it MSRP. It was like $80, and like it's like the best $80 bottle you're gonna get, and that's why it sells for like so much in the secondary. But this is easily one that I'm like, man, we should just drink this thing, And like I bring this out probably once or twice a year for like just like good family, good friends. Like, yes, be pretty solid. So
and Brendan for samples. Would you like 2 or 4 ounces?
TJ, yeah, 2 or 4 ounces.
hey, we'll get Elliot some too. Both of you can have 8.
All right.
16
gosh. But
no, that is.
Yeah,
go ahead, sorry. I was saying in general that's one of the best budget breakers ever.
Man, it's so good. It is so good.
$70 too. It's not absurd. It's not crazy.
If you can find it. Yeah. If you can find it.
What would you spend for it if you saw it again? Would you spend like double on that, Ben, if you saw it again?
I would probably write a check for $150 on this. And that is saying a ton. Like,
because
breaking the 3 figures is absurd to me. But like being able to like give this to people and like share that with them, like every person I give this to has been like, this is the best. This is the best stuff that we've had.
I've shared it with a lot of people, and it honestly has been. No one has been like, oh, I don't like that. It is so good. It drinks so much. It's 129 proof, I believe. It drinks a little bit.
130.6. Yeah.
Drinks. I think it drinks around 115, 110, 115. Like it's hot, but it drinks lower. Man, it is so fantastic. I would throw any of my Michter stuff in there, any of my Toasted Barrel. I want a lot of that in raffles, but that's stuff that I've, really, really enjoyed. So we'll move to this one, and then we'll go.
What about real quick, TJ? Do you ever regret that you broke back on?
I was trying to think of one. Have I mentioned one to you? Like, was there something that I'd mentioned to you or said? I can't. I was trying to think of one, and I really don't.
Must be nice.
Must be. You know what? I take that back.
No regrets.
I take that back. I don't love that FAE. We've talked about the maker stuff.
Thank you. Yes, that's not that great to me.
But I'm not like, I don't hate it. It's just a little more woody than I would prefer. And so I spent 70. Did I ever pay you for that? I think I did. I don't know.
I think you did.
It's just the store picks are so amazing. That's what it's what it's up against. It's store picks. Store picks are great.
I'll do a blind when you guys send up the store picks. I'll do a blind with that one and 2 or 3 of the store picks.
It'll beat the pants off of it, man.
It's only one way to find out. We'll do it for science.
Yeah, I don't love that. But I spent $70. I don't really care that much. It's not that bad. So,
Mr. My bags.
So my buddy wants to. He was asking me the other day, and he likes bourbon. I don't think he's like as into it as we are, but he does like it. He has a George T. Stagg. His dad was able to procure a Pappy based on where he works, so he gets some good stuff.
He's like into it, and he has a George T. Stagg. Like,
So there's some things like he thinks wheat sometimes are spicy and doesn't really drink rye. So like his lane of what he likes is very narrow. I guess I'll put it that way. Like he hasn't gone down a whole lot of rabbit holes yet for bourbon.
Right.
But what he does like, he's willing to spend a lot on. He saw the handy rye, the BTAC one at $800. No, it was $900, and he's asking me whether he should buy it. He doesn't even know if he likes ryes. No. And I'm pretty sure, like I tried to talk him out of it. I'm pretty sure he's not going to listen to me and go buy.
I'll sell him one. I'll sell him one for $900.
We got him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I still love that FAE. I wish I could sell it back to you. Last one. We'll go to Pursuits and Purchases. We'll get out of here. A little bit shorter show. Do you break the budget often when you're out? I know Ben's cheap when he goes out. I know I went to a place called Ciro's last night. We talked about that. We all kind of I think I posted that and Brendan responded to it. And a lot of times when you go to Ciro's or you go to any kind of bourbon place, Ciro's is a speakeasy here in Tampa. Really neat spot. I would recommend it. They're not paying me to say that, but it is a cool little spot to check out. A lot of times when we go to bourbon places that have bourbon, the first thing we do is look at that whiskey list and see what is the best value for the pour, right? You say, oh, wow. Okay, Woodford Reserve Rye is like $16. That's not great value because the bottle's $30. Henry McKenna, similar priced bottle, but it's $14, and I can't find that bottle anywhere. So I'm going to get that. Or they got Blanton's priced at $25.
Yeah,
but right there over on the other page, you've got George T. Stagg or Stagg Jr. at like 18 or 36. You're like, oh, okay, well, this is a little. So how, I've talked about this. The most expensive pour that I ever got was a $40 birthday bourbon, again, 2018, which is the year Elena was born. How much will you break the budget? Maybe is a better way to say it, because we all know that Brendan's bank is unreal. But how much will you break the bank, Brendan, when you're out?
I'm more of a proponent of finding the value when I'm out. Like I am hardcore. I look at those lists like that you sent out yesterday, TJ, on the Twitter, and I try to find what the best value is, and that's what I go with for the evening. I will, if it's a chance to try something that I've never tried before, like you with the birthday bourbon. I think I've spent like $25, $30 on a birthday bourbon because I thought it was a good price for that pour. Same thing with a George T. Stagg. This is a few years ago, and this place has since marked it up. But it was a pour of George T. Stagg for $20. I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to see that again. And at that point, I hadn't tried it yet, and I was like, I have to try it at this price. So, I will pay for something if I think it's a special occasion. Or one time, I made my brother buy me what was it? It was an Oban 18-year-old, which is a pretty expensive pour. No, it was a Highland Park 18-year-old. I made my brother buy it for me. So if someone else is paying, I don't mind breaking the budget.
Okay. Well, I mean,
that's how I feel when I go out with. That's how I feel when I go out with Ben.
But no, typically, like if I can find if I find like Eagle Rare at $10 a pour, I'm super excited, and that's what I'm going with.
I'll ask Ben that, but I do agree with you on that. But I just feel that sometimes the best value is a really expensive pour. Like if they had a Pappy 23 for $40, that's the best value on the menu, no matter what they have. Anything else, because that's a secondary $2,300 bottle, and so to try that for $40 is better to me than trying that Eagle Rare at $12. I know I'm never going to have.
What's the rule of thumb on that, TJ? On the for pours, like the pour to bottle ratio price, isn't there a rule of thumb? And I don't know what it is. What
I have seen at places, and I'm glad you asked that, because I'm going to get a million corrections on what I've seen. But what I have seen is essentially the secondary price divided by 24, which is how many pours are in it, and that's how you kind of come out with it, right? Like if you have a $700 bottle and you divide that by 24, quick math on here because I'm not going to be able to do that on there. A $700 bottle divided by 24 comes out to, I did times, so 700 divided by 24 one more time is about $30 a pour. And that's what I've seen. So $700 is like your Old Rip Van Winkle. Maybe you see that for a little bit higher. But $30 for a pour of that is kind of what I've seen. I've seen stuff that's like $850. So you're talking your couple-year-old Stags and stuff, and then you divide that by 24, and you come out with 35. I've seen a little higher than that, but that's kind of what I have found to to be the way that some of these bars that are aware of the secondary market are doing. But it's wild too, because like, you'll go some places and you're just like, man, they have no clue what they've got. It's a Michter's 10 for $16. And you're like, yes, like give me all of that, where a lot of places will put Michter's 10 at like 28, So I think you're always kind of evaluating that value. And again, to me, Pappy 23 at $40 would be more valuable than Eagle Rare at 12, because I can, I'm never going to try Pappy 23 again, and so for a one poor thing, I'm going to go for it. Ben, what are your thoughts? I know you're just going for like whatever the cheapest thing on the menu is. Bring me the Maker's Mark or Benchmark or whatever you've got.
Law of diminishing returns is so true in like most bars. So I'm with Brendan. I go for the biggest value, and I usually can be pretty happy. I have some mental barriers at $20. Like for me, if I'm grabbing something neat at like an ounce or an ounce and a half, because usually what it is when you're going to like these nice places, at $20 a pour, I am really struggling. Like it cannot start with a 2. If it starts with a 2, I'm just like, this is a nightmare.
See,
this is a nightmare.
When I'm looking for that value, I am looking in that teens range, right? I want to be above 10.
Right, because most of your cocktails, like if you're gonna go and grab like an old fashioned at any kind of like nice
12,
bar, it's 15
right.
bucks or 14 bucks, right?
So yeah, I'm with that. I think the exception is when I think that something that should be priced at $90 or $100 a pour is like way low. Or if there's a Michter's 10 at 21 and a Michter's regular at 15, I'm buying that Michter's 10 at $21. I understand like the price. If there's a barrel strength rye like you like from Michter's at 22 and the regular rye at 17, then you're like, man, let's go with that barrel strength for $5. If they have regular Michter's rye at 17, then they've got some stuff.
Yeah, come on,
price.
It's a problem.
But okay, so breaking the budget. Any other thoughts on breaking the budget at times? We can move on and go to pursuits and purchases and get out of here. A little shorter show again. Get Brendan back to his hospital bed that he's sitting in right now. Oh wait,
I've been playing. You're not supposed to sit down or lay down. That's bad for you. Bad for the chest. I've been playing so much Red Dead Redemption the last couple days.
Oh man, number 2.
Yeah, number 2.
Are you gonna like splurge on yourself for getting the coronavirus? You're like, my dog died. I got coronavirus. Might as well just splurge and get a nice bottle.
That's amazing.
I was thinking of doing that. When I get my smell back, I want to buy something nice to enjoy.
Dude, imagine buying something and not being able to taste it.
Can we transition that into pursuits and purchases? Because I do have a story about that. So I
pursuits and purchases. Patent pending, registered trademark. Go ahead, Brendan. You're up.
All right. So last time, I'm picking up the wrong bottle. Hang on, Corona brain. Woo!
Corona brain.
So last time we were on here, I was talking about 2.
You jinxed it, by the way.
And purchase. I jinxed it. So one was the Lagavulin 11. Finished in the Guinness cask.
Yes.
I was so excited about it. I was supposed to procure it. We'll put it that way. Like that day we were recording. I think it was on Thursday. I was supposed to get on the Thursday. And all of a sudden on Friday, it got pushed back a day. I was like, that's not great. All of a sudden Friday, still didn't get it. And it was, we'll say, broken transit to me. The person who was supposed to be delivering it broke it, along with a bottle of the WB Staffel, which I was also looking forward to. So both of those gone, no more, dust in the wind. Unfortunately, when I was up in upstate New York, getting the coronavirus, I saw a bottle of that Lagavulin 11 at $80, which is, as TJ knows, because he's helped me try to get a hold of it. It goes for like about 110, 120 on the secondary. And I saw it at 80. I declined to get it there because I was like, maybe that bottle's still around. Maybe it still exists. At that point, I didn't know for sure that I hadn't been able to get it yet. So pursuit and purchase gone terribly, terribly wrong. I did, before I went on the trip and while I could still smell and taste, get a bottle of Old Forester 100. That was on my ABC. It was at $23. Oh, rye. Sorry. We had the 100. The 100 rye Old Forester.
Yeah, great
I got
bottle.
into it. It was excellent. as much as Ben's suggestion of the Wild Turkey 101 rye sucked, that one was redeemed by the Old Forester 100 rye. That was exceptional at $23. I'm happy with that purchase.
Nice. Ben, any purchases for you, or you had kind of a dry week?
Yeah, I didn't really get much this week. We spent a bunch of money the prior week on 2 store picks, so I was out of money this past week.
That's never happened. I
have no money.
We talked about staying in, going out. I had a very interesting mix of things. I don't know that I got anything. I'm trying to look around.
You had an interesting mix, turds.
Oh,
that was all right.
That was legitimately one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. We went to Ciro's. I had a Jameson espresso drink, which was fantastic. It was the Jameson Stout finished. Fantastic. So good.
Usually whiskey and coffee sucks, rule of thumb, but the Jameson cask finish
Irish
one,
coffee was a thing.
Yeah,
do you like the Buffalo Trace?
The cream? I've never had the cream. I do like
just okay, but
there's one Irish cream that I love. That's really good in coffee, but just like straight whiskey by itself and coffee to me usually is kind of, especially bourbon, the corniness kind of shows up weird.
Yeah.
But Jameson stout finish in coffee,
so good. It was fantastic. So anyway, we did that, and then we went to a place called CW's Gin Joint.
Ooh.
Not a massive fan of gin. I know it's a very different alcohol. So I got a bourbon flight at a gin joint. They have a great bourbon selection though. So like I can't be upset with this. I was looking up at the bar and I was thinking like, man, I'd like to try that. I'd like to try that. I'd try that. And it said flight of the month. Ask your server about the flight or bartender about the flight. And I said, what is the flight? And they said, it's a Garrison Brothers small batch.
Which you like?
Cream of Kentucky. The 12.3, right? Like the 13-year.
That's an expensive bottle. It's at least 100.
Oh yeah. The Wild Turkey Cornerstone Rye. It's part of their Master's Keep collection.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that. And then a Michter's 10-year. The Garrison Brothers small batch I've had, I do like, but I've had it before, so I wouldn't have picked that. Those last 3, the cream, Wild Turkey, and the Michter's. Those were the 3 I wanted to try, but knew I couldn't try all 3 of them because I had to get home that night, right? And they were part of the flight where you just got like a small pour of each, a 3/4 ounce pour. And so I got that flight. The flight was $35, so not super cheap, but to try those 4 things, it was fantastic. So broke the budget a little bit last night at CW's Gin Joint. Their bartenders are fantastic as well. We were sat at the bar with some friends. Shout out Johnny, shout out Steph.
They're in town. Nice.
Yeah, and they'll be here Friday if you're not doing anything Friday night.
Shout out Johnny and Steph.
Had a good time there. Tried that. That was my only real purchase of the week. I didn't really pursue anything else. I alluded to this earlier. We are sending. Ben found a bottle of Wild Turkey 13-year. I'm sorry,
Russell's Reserve. 13.
Distilled by Wild Turkey. 13-year.
Oh, we got a Wild Turkey 13.
I was thinking Elliot, and then Wild Turkey popped into my head. We are sending that to Elliot, cost and ship. Now it's on him to. He even said this. He texted back and said like, "Well, I guess I got to make true on my. This is better." And I was like, "Yeah, you do. I'm looking for a Pappy 23." So
send it. Send the Paps.
And so anyway, excited to get that to him. And we're trusting him. We're trusting that route. So, pursuits and purchases. Hey, next week, hopefully Brendan will be back, mended up. If Brendan is back 100%, I want to get into this King of the Hill Rye edition. So we'll see. We'll see. If you're not back yet, we'll do another one of these episodes where Ben and I just drink in front of you. It'll be fun. But if you're back to 100%, we'll do that. But I thought this was a fun episode. I thought just kind of having a conversation about breaking the budget was good. Not super structured, just kind of more of a talk. I enjoyed this one. I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was fun to do one sober. That was nice.
Yeah,
interesting.
Oh, let me plug a little bit further later in this week. We're going to continue this. What's it called? We're going to continue this. Yeah. We're going to continue this theme.
Stone cold hammered.
We're going to continue this theme of breaking the budget with A bottle that you can't even fly on planes with. A bottle so dangerous that it's going to instantaneously light on fire. How about the highest proof we've ever drank? How about 140 proof light whiskey? Liquor Depot store pick. Tune in Thursday. That's right.
That was a heck of a preview. I liked it. Liquor Depot store pick of light whiskey
From Obtainium Distillery.
Yeah,
Not sure Cat's Eye Distillery, but yes.
Yeah, they just put Obtainium on the side. You psycho. Hey, follow us on all social medias. We appreciate you. I probably won't even fix that. We appreciate you guys' support. It was like a 3-second blip. We will see you guys on Thursday as we review straight beer, basically, like straight alcohol. Until
It's gonna be great.
Until then, cheers.